Alright, here we go. Alright, so today I got some game overlay. All fun. Alright, today, if your name is Rebecca or Carl, don't watch this video. I already sent a message to them, but in case they don't see it, don't watch this. Also, this one's real graphic, and I mean towards animals, so probably should. I don't want to get too graphic into it, just because, oh boy, is it graphic. Alright, the book begins with the main character, Allison, talking about how her little brother is a young kid and why he shouldn't be watching horror movies. And I agree. When I was a little kid, I watched, my babysitter, would watch, or her son, really, would watch horror movies while we're all in nap time. That scared me off from horror for a while, actually. And I talk about how the school is doing a bootleg play of Aladdin, Alibaba style. And they got on their bikes to make their way to the school rehearsal. When I mean Alibaba style, like, it's like, oh, you're not a prince? I'm gonna play a trick on you. They don't elaborate any further, but that gives me, Grimm's fairy tale slash, Arabian Nights vibe, so fair. Yeah. On the way, Allison almost gets hit by a car, and in the process, disconnects Chekhov's cat from his spine, like a Discord call. Fair. Right. This also freaks out Allison, because now she has a dead cat on her hands. Well, I guess tires, but... And she talks with the lady who almost hit her during this time. And, it almost hit her, and during this time, the cat, she thought she killed, gets up from the pavement and scampers off. It's a bit weird. I guess she only just thought she... No, I'm just fucking with you. That's kind of the goosebumps, like, well, I felt a hand grab me and pull me into the liquidation. Well, that's what I thought would happen. But it was really just a cold bathtub. And I was taking a bath. Turns out the hand was just gravity. At this time, a girl comes over and asks if she saw her cat. This girl is Crystal, and she's rather haggard looking, and freaks out when she learns her cat, named Rip, has been run over. Understandable. With this information, Crystal refuses to talk, and talk to Allison. Yeah, normal pet owner behavior. Again, understandable. Allison thinks she's just overreacting. Allison has obviously never owned a pet. Alright, and this makes her, and now she makes her way over to school for a rehearsal. Also, the schedule for this rehearsal seems kind of wonky to me. I've never been able to get a clear linear picture of it. And I don't know if this is red flaggish at all, but there are a bunch of times where these kids don't remember their lines, and the play's like a week out. I need all my theater viewers, all 6 of you, or 7, to tell me, is that red flaggish? Is that normal? I didn't know. Yeah. Right. This is where the Attack of the Cat Part 2 comes in, the cat movie. As, they're moving a huge throne for the kid who plays the king in this play. And Rip pops out of a closet, insert gay analogy here, and then swipes at Allison. And Allison uses her reaction to bat the cat away from her. And then Rip fails a dex save and gets anviled by the throne. Obviously, wigged out by the amount of time this cat has died, Allison thinks about what this cat might really be, but she really can't figure this out. It's like, why does it keep dying? Why does it keep coming after me? And that night, she eats chicken soup and tells her parents about the bike that was wrecked that morning. Her father doesn't want to hear about the broken bike or dead cats. Understandable, they are eating. And then the mother says, I made a homemade chicken soup. And that's when Allison starts coughing. And finds her soup has fur in it. This grosses her out, and her brother refuses to eat the soup now. F in the chat for the soup. It was the real victim here. That night, Allison finds her Deus Ex mouse collection strewn about her room, and battles Rip in her room. It literally just pops out, like out of nowhere, cliffhanger, end chapter style. And then she flings the cat out her window, because apparently it's 2-story. We never got that story yet. And she just, breaks the cat's neck again. Goddamn. I think R.L. Stine's really having fun with this one. So you can't kill kids, R.L. Stine. What about a cat? Allison goes to her backyard to find that the cat, obviously the neck is broken. And since she's never seen Chucky, she gets real close to Rip, and he jumps her, giving her a deep cut on her leg. Now Allison starts getting a fever and feeling weird, and I start thinking about a lesson I got once about bacterial infection. She finds that her wound heals preternaturally and sleeps it off. She wakes up the next morning feeling, not really getting any sleep, chalk it up to weird cat scratch, I guess, or bacterial infection, and downs a lot of tuna. This freaks her mom out. But she's like, and goddamn R.L. Stine if a parent cares about their child in these books. At the next rehearsal, Allison climbs up this ladder to, fake tower. So, context for this tower. So earlier in the book, they were like, oh, I'm afraid of heights. And understandable. I am too. And what happens is, they have a ladder that's, being steadied by kids, practically. And it's leaning up against this huge fake tower that was, mentioned early in the book. And that's the fake, princess tower that, she's like, Romeo, that sort of stuff, It's kind of like a balcony for, like, the play. Alright. And then, yes. And props. Yeah. Speaking of that, I wrote it into the script just because I went to the Dells one time, and there's like a 5-story climb upstairs to go down this huge water slide, and goddamn, I was so fucking... I was there for maybe 3 days, and I didn't go there till like the 3rd day. And, to kind of boot how paralyzed I am by heights, my brother's like, oh, good job, man. Yeah. I don't even think I'd do it again. But before they can start, there's a call from her mother and saying it's urgent. Yes, that was the joke. And she launches off the ladder like a dolphin. Alright. Into the ground below. Yep, she literally just swan dives off. And her teacher and castmates are freaking the fuck out. Because what the hell just happened? But Allison, like the speediest little cat, zooms out. Yeah. And her mother says that the urgent phone call was that her aunt was freaking out and she needs her parents to come over. And Allison needs to come home right away because her little brother Tanner is like home alone. Yeah, probably shouldn't leave a young kid home alone. That's how you get them doing spooky shit with the mirror, and then like they get shadow realmed. Right. Now Tanner, when Allison gets home, complains about movies and sandwiches. You see, the thing about this book is, in the book itself, there's a movie he's watching called Cry of the Cat, and it's some real, in the episode, it's some real Exorcist type shit. It's pretty funny. Right. At this point, once her parents get home, she makes her way to Crystal's house and asks her to tell her what's up with Rip. Because of this, Crystal is reluctant to talk to her, and finally she, talks in a kind of Bates way, saying that her mother is very mad about Rip's death. Understandable. I know that's the theme of this. Yeah, a lot of this until the actual, like from their side of it, imagine just looking at this from the outside, not seeing the supernatural stuff that Allison's seeing. Very understandable, right? And Allison, tells Crystal, he was scratching me. To which Crystal's like, get the fuck out of here. Next, you have Ryan, who shows up after his family drove by Allison. A little weird. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just from a different time and a different brain chemistry, but that seems a little weird. I probably would just go to their house after that. You know, and ask her what's going on. Allison starts explaining the sitch with Rip and compulsively running to an unknown location. This leads her to a, and I quote, pet graveyard. Listen, Allison, it's not copyrighted if you spell it right. And, you know, and then just defiles Rip's grave. You know, then, now Rip, mad, more than so than ever, just jumps out and scratches Allison and Ryan. Then raises the cat, then it literally does some fucking necromancy, it's so great. Then raises the spirits of other dead cats in this pet graveyard. And to make like this choking spirit gas, which I thought was a real pretty cool way to die. Like, you in other Goosebumps books, like, oh, I'm a mutant and I change into a snake to bite you. You know, oh, I am a vampire, I threaten to drink your blood. You know, I'm a dead undead cat, and I use the spirits of other dead cats to choke you. Damn. They managed to escape the spirit smoke and make it back to Crystal's house, where she yoinks Allison into her house, telling her that her mother's going to help her, and that she needs to get into her basement, because that's where Mother is. That's, Jesus Christ. Now, down in the basement, the cat person that is Crystal's mother holds Allison in place to sacrifice the Rip. Now, I'm going to be real. I read the description of the cat of Allison's mother, and I don't think she has a name in this book. You know, and I'm like, kind of goofy, I guess. The one from the episode is fucking terrifying. Imagine seeing that shit. You know, this one's a little, the one in the book's a little goofy. Now, she explains that Rip used her life force. Rip kind of like takes life force from other people, and doing so, it does so in the form of scratches, so that you can build up life points to get all 9 lives back, right? And that Alice and Crystal's mother used all of her life force that she could to protect her daughter from Rip. Now, there's a little more at the end of this about what I think Rip is, because there's a little nods, like, you know, all the cats I buried in the pet cemetery. See, Allison? Crystal's mom knows how to say it. I should just say pet cemetery, not graveyard. Right. Now, the funny thing is, like, oh, you know, they're just holding her in place, and you're like, Rip, come on. And out comes a cat spirit tornado. It's literally a hurricane of just dead cats. It's fucking weird. Now, Allison, who has a mouse collection that I mentioned earlier in the joke, she apparently grabbed one at some point. I missed that, and throws the toy mouse at the cats. Now Rip, takes an interest, and then all the cats start fighting over it. You know, so it literally becomes a frenzy, and the cats literally in fight till they're dead. Well, more dead. Permadead? Possibly. And they all make up, Allison, Ryan, Crystal, and her mother. Which, kind of weird, because you did just try to kill her, so... No, and their plan was to chain her up in the basement and leave her for Rip, and then fuck off. It's like, I don't know about that one. I'd be a little apprehensive towards them. Okay. Now, after all this is done, a week later, Allison and Ryan are making their way towards the school. And since Ryan has been scratched too, the twist ending is that they fight over a field mouse to eat. Right? Now, kind of what I think Rip is he kind of reminds me of the vampires from Nosferatu. Right? So, Charles Manx from Nosferatu by Joe Hill is this dude who, So I'm not going to get too much into what happens in the book, but what he is a dude who, continually keeps himself alive by stealing life force from others. Well, this one is a very graphic book and has some mental images, but the, Rip himself, I think, is just a kind of an undead vampire of a cat who can only have 9 lives at any given time, but will constantly steal life so that he can have those 9 lives. And if he uses them up, he'll just use some human guinea pig to get it. Now, one real interesting thing, it's kind of vague, but which is not uncommon for a Goosebumps book, is how Rip came about. Because there's this part in the book which, like, how Rip won't stay dead, or I buried all the cats in the pet cemetery. It implies that maybe Crystal's mom may have made Rip, or that he was just some byproduct of what she was already doing. Because it sounds like she was trying to bring cats alive, or do some experiments on cats, and, in the process, Rip happened. Odd. Because I'm pretty sure he died in 1983. Or, no, 1990. Oh, here. Let me just pause. Alright, that's confirmed. Rip died in 1993. Yeah, I don't know what I was really doing there. But yeah. I guess that was the book. And if you liked it, give the playlist a watch. Yeah, I'm trying to do more of these so I can compile a playlist. Alright, have a good one.